Ever wondered how to build your own Raspberry Pi? Today we're diving into the world of this fantastic microcomputer. Picture a credit card-sized computer that can do almost anything a desktop PC can do. That's Raspberry Pi. It's a low-cost, high-performance device used by enthusiasts worldwide to learn programming and build exciting, innovative projects. From creating your own home media center to automating your home, the possibilities with Raspberry Pi are as vast as your imagination. But what do you need to get started? First, you'll need the Raspberry Pi board, the heart of your new creation. Next, a micro SD card, which will act as your device's hard drive. You'll also need a power supply to keep your Pi running. Lastly, an HDMI cable will connect your Pi to a monitor, allowing you to interface with your new device. Now that you're familiar with what a Raspberry Pi is and what you need to build one, it's time to get started. First off, we need to prepare the micro SD card. This little piece of technology is the brain of our Raspberry Pi, storing the operating system and all our files. So let's roll up our sleeves and get to it. First, insert the micro SD card into your computer. Now, you'll need to format it. This wipes the card clean and ensures it's ready to hold the Raspberry Pi OS. You can use a tool like SD Formatter or Disk Utility, depending on your computer's operating system. Next, we're going to install the Raspberry Pi OS onto the card. Download the latest version of Raspberry Pi OS from the official website. Once the download is complete, use a tool like Balena Etcher to write the OS image onto the micro SD card. Remember, this step is crucial. Without a properly prepared micro SD card, our Raspberry Pi is just a fancy paperweight. The SD card is now ready to use. It's time to move on to the next step. With the SD card prepared, it's time to assemble our Raspberry Pi. First, let's talk about the Raspberry Pi board. This compact device is the heart of your project. It's a tiny computer complete with a processor, memory, and a host of ports to connect peripherals. It's amazing how much punch this little board can pack. Now let's start the assembly process. First off, we're going to connect the power supply. The power supply is vital for keeping your Raspberry Pi running. The Raspberry Pi board features a micro USB port that's used to provide power. So take your power supply and plug the micro USB end into the Raspberry Pi board. Easy as pie, isn't it? Next, we're going to connect the HDMI cable. This will allow your Raspberry Pi to send video output to a monitor or TV. The Raspberry Pi board has an HDMI port, so simply insert one end of the HDMI cable into this port. The other end, of course, goes into your monitor or TV. Now let's move on to the star of the show, the prepared SD card. This little card is essential. It holds the operating system that the Raspberry Pi will run, along with any other software you choose to install. On the Raspberry Pi board, you'll find a slot for the SD card. Gently insert the card into this slot, ensuring it's firmly in place. You've just connected all the necessary components to your Raspberry Pi board. But let's not forget about the case. The case is important for protecting your Raspberry Pi from dust and damage. So, gently place your Raspberry Pi board into the case, ensuring it fits snugly. Each of these components plays a crucial role in the functioning of your Raspberry Pi. The power supply provides the energy, the HDMI cable connects to your visual output, and the SD card holds all the necessary software. Together, they transform this tiny board into a fully operational mini-computer. And there you have it, you've successfully assembled your Raspberry Pi, but we're not quite finished yet. Now comes the exciting part, booting up your Raspberry Pi for the first time. As you power up your device, you'll be greeted by a welcoming screen. From here, you'll need to walk through the initial setup process. This includes choosing your language and time zone, setting a password, and enabling network interfaces. Next, let's get you connected to the internet. Navigate to the Wi-Fi symbol at the top right corner of your screen. Select your network and enter your password. Once you're connected, it's time for an update. Open the terminal and type sudo apt-get update followed by sudo apt-get upgrade. This ensures that your Raspberry Pi is running the latest software. This initial setup might seem a bit daunting, but don't worry. It's just like setting up a new computer. And remember, the Raspberry Pi community is always there to help you out. Congratulations! You've successfully built and set up your Raspberry Pi. It's now ready to be used for your projects.